Hello movie lovers, Bob for Bob's Movie Review here, and today I'm bringing you guys your new Blu-ray and DVD shopping guide for Tuesday, July 16th, 2019. Be sure to click subscribe and click on the bell icon to be notified whenever I upload great new content. If you do enjoy the video, be sure to show it some love and give it a like rating. So I just want to address a few things real quick before we start the video. If the screen isn't working, I'm sorry guys. There's a lot of work in progress here. And I know the sound has been really echoey in the videos. Everything is a work in progress, working constantly to kind of fix this setup. And when I get a little more done, I'll give you guys a view of it. So a lot of stuff sent to me for review this week, a lot of stuff to talk about this week. Remember, you guys can find affiliate links to purchase all these movies down in the description below. And if you do purchase them, it does help support the channel. So first up this week, guys, we have Shazam. Now, you can't just say Shazam because it has an exclamation point at the end, right? Shazam! Okay, so this one's releasing on a 4K Blu-ray and digital. Amazon and Walmart $29.96, Best Buy and Target $29.99. Best Buy will have an exclusive 4K Steelbook, and when I first saw this thing, I was a little disappointed. The front's kind of plain, but it does have a cool back art and a cool inside art. I did skip this one just for financial reasons. I'm going to be cutting back a little bit on Steelbooks for a little while. Like if something's getting sent to me for review, I'm probably going to skip the Steelbook unless I really like it. But it kind of sucks, but you know, it's just kind of where I'm at right now. So it will include 4K, Blu-ray, and digital for $34.99. There will also be a 3D version. Yes, Warner Brothers is still releasing some 3D titles. So it includes 3D Blu-ray and digital. Amazon and Walmart $34.99, Best Buy $29.99, and Target not available. Don't ask me how the 3D is now costing more than the 4K, but that appears to be the situation we're in. It's also going to release on a Blu-ray, DVD, and digital. Amazon and Walmart $24.96, Best Buy and Target $24.99. And lastly, it will be releasing on a DVD, Amazon, Best Buy, Target, and Walmart, all $17.99. Now, you guessed it, Warner Brothers did send me over a copy for review, Shazam. This is the 4K version. I did do an unboxing of this if you guys want to check out the case more in depth. I'll give you guys just a quick glance at it here. We did get disc art. It's not the greatest disc art, but we did get disc art on this one. Shazam is the story of this wizard named Shazam, and he's kind of gotten old and weak, and he needs to find somebody to take over for him. And he kind of gets desperate, and he picks this kid who is an orphan. And when he was young, he kind of got separated from his mom, and they never found her. And so he's like living foster homes, and he keeps running away, and he keeps trying to find his mom. And he ends up getting the Shazam power, and he kind of transforming his life, obviously, because he becomes a superhero. This movie is super funny. You know, it really has a lighthearted feel to it, testing out superpowers, joking about other DC properties, and just having fun all around. I thought that it was a great cast. Honestly, one of my favorite DC movies, especially, you know, of the modern era, since like the Tim Burton Batman movies. They've been struggling, but I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was a great movie, guys. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. Next up is Titans, the complete first season. This one's releasing on a Blu-ray and digital copy combo pack. Amazon, Best Buy, and Target $22.99, Walmart $23.45, and it is also releasing on a DVD. Amazon and Walmart $19.75, Best Buy $19.99. and Target no listing. Now, if you guys haven't heard of this one, this is available on the DC Online exclusive show. So they created this, you know, DC Online, you know, kind of like a Netflix, but just DC stuff. And I think they have comic books on there too. I'm not positive. They created some new shows to kind of sell the package. And so they had Titans, and I think they only ran one at a time. Like, you can go back and watch them, but they would just have one a week. They had Titans, and then Doom Patrol, and I think Swamp Thing is on right now. But Titans and Doom Patrol will both be getting a Blu-ray and DVD release. I don't know about Swamp Thing yet since it's still on. They haven't really announced anything, I don't think. But Warner Brothers did send over season 1 for review, Titans. Now this says it's a new take on the classic Teen Titans. Now I'm not familiar with the Teen Titans. I haven't ever seen any of them. I do have that Teen Titans Go to the Movies, but I've never seen it. And I don't really know anything about the Teen Titans. So it could be kind of why I feel the way I do about this show. So this show is kind of centered around Dick Grayson, who is known also as Robin, and this team of other people who I never heard of before. Gar, Raven, and Starfire is kind of like the main cast. There are also some other, like they go see this guy, he was like a falcon or a hawk. What do you call himself? The Hawk or something. And I think the woman he was with was a dove or something. And I kind of like that. I thought that was cool that they kind of went and saw these other people. So anyways, Dick Grayson has grown weary of being Batman's sidekick, and he decides to move to the one place with more crime than Gotham. You guessed it, Detroit City. And he's a detective there, and he wants to leave Robin behind, but he ends up getting mixed up with this girl named Rachel Roth, and he's trying to protect her. And there's all these other people looking for her. Now, they really don't, I don't think, mention their kind of superhero alter ego names, like Starfire, Raven, and Beast Boy. Like, I don't think those names really come up too much. But these are the characters. And so you got this woman, Starfire, who can like absorb power from the sun and shoot flames and stuff out. And Raven, I don't know, she just can do all kinds of stuff. There's kind of like this dark force inside of her. And Beast Boy can transform. Now, I had heard, you know, that this show was a little more adult oriented, you know, foul language, action, violence. And I'm not going to say it's not. I mean, they do kind of have a little bit of the foul language. There is a little bit of blood and a lot of action going on, but I really expected something a little grittier out of this. It just seems a little too clean to me for what I was expecting, at least. Now, let's talk about this team. Like I said, you got Dick Grayson, or the Robin. His power is fighting good. Okay. I explained their powers. He feels out of place. Like he's just a guy. That's it. Everybody else has these crazy things going on, these powers. Everything seems really weird in their lives. And he's just like, well, I don't want to be Batman's sidekick anymore. And my power is whenever I'm wearing the Robin costume, I can fight. And that brings me to my next complaint. Like, he's hardly ever the Robin. Now, I understand that he's trying to escape this life, but when he's Robin, he's such a badass. He's so cool. But when he's Dick Grayson, he's kind of lame. You know, I wish he was Robin more in this. I think it would be a lot more fun. But I do like this show, guys. It's really cool, really fun. Definitely a different take. If I'm comparing this and the recently released Gotham Season 5, I definitely like Gotham better. While this does have a good production and a fun story, good acting, good characters, I do feel that in places the effects kind of are a letdown. But I know I'm going back and forth on this one, guys. I did really enjoy this show. I gave it a 4 out of 5. Next up is Fast Color. This one is releasing on a Blu-ray and digital. Amazon and Target $16.99, Walmart $17.96, and Best Buy $19.99. And Lionsgate was kind enough to send over a copy for review of Fast Color. This has kind of like this really, I don't want to call it cheap, but cheap feeling paperish slipcover. I mean, it is cool. I'm not trying to say it's bad. It has this feeling to it, like it's real cardboardy. I don't know what you want to call it, but here's a look at the inside. And the disc there, just kind of a plain blue. Now, this one was a kind of, they were kind of going for like a futuristic, almost like post-apocalyptic type thing, but it wasn't full-on post-apocalyptic. What had happened was it hadn't rained, I'm guessing, anywhere in the world, at least. I don't know if they said anywhere in the world, or if it was just like in the country, or what, for 8 years. I'm assuming it was the world. That's how it seemed. And so you could imagine if there was no rain for 8 years, like your crops would die, people would be running out of water. And they do kind of touch on that, but it definitely doesn't seem like people are too desperate. I mean, the bar is still open. There's this grocery store that seems completely pointless. There's like 10 cans of canned food, and how are they not bought yet? I don't know. They do say she gets a shipment, but it just didn't quite seem what I would expect for 8 years without water. So basically this girl, she has these seizures, and it causes like these earthquakes and this crazy stuff to happen. And she decides to go home because there's these people looking for her, because they want to like study her and exploit whatever is wrong with her, or right with whatever this ability is, they want to exploit it. And I don't know if it was specifically clear if they had good intentions or bad intentions. Other than that, they were trying to figure out a way to kind of get water or rain or something. I don't know. They didn't really get into it in depth. And so she ends up going back home with her mom and this other little girl. And it ends up being kind of, they all have these powers, and it's really interesting. I really enjoyed this movie, guys. I thought it was a cool movie. Definitely worth checking out. It had some great visual effects, some great acting, a fun story. Like I said, I would expect it a little more for, kind of like a post-apocalyptic thing where there's like not very many people, nothing's open, like people are really scrounging. Everybody seemed to have water. They were just really conserving it. So I give this one a 3 out of 5. Next up is Criminal Minds Season 14. This one is only going to be releasing on a DVD. Amazon and Walmart $27.96, Target $42.49, and Best Buy $42.99. CBS Television was nice enough to send over a copy for review. To be honest, CBS for me is hit and miss when I request stuff. Sometimes they'll send it, sometimes they won't. They did send over Criminal Minds Season 14. Now, I don't get too big into these kind of crime investigation shows. Not that I don't like them, it's just, I don't know, I don't really watch them that often. And I'm not sure if I'd ever seen Criminal Minds before. Maybe the first disc is still is not in here, but the discs are plain. You do have the episode guide there on the inside. So the first episode, and I was kind of getting scared because the first episode was a wrap up of season 13, and I was like, oh my gosh, if season 14 is all based off season 13, I'm going to be in trouble because I had never seen it. And luckily, it's just the first episode. They wrap up this whole thing with this cult and this serial killer. And I mean, it was cool, it was interesting, but I was kind of lost, but that's to be expected. I'm not knocking this at all for that. And then they go on to these other crimes. They investigate the crime and they find the evidence and find out what happened. I thought there was a lot of cool, really up-to-date kind of modern feeling stuff as far as like people using the internet and the dark web and all these kind of more modern things. And I thought this was a great show. I really love the cast, and it's fun kind of crime solving type thing, which I always do enjoy. So I don't know, I don't watch these shows more. Maybe I should. I gave this one a 3.5 out of 5. Next up is Blood Paradise. This one's going to release on a Blu-ray, Amazon and Walmart $9.59, Best Buy $12.99, and Target no listing. It will also be releasing on a DVD, Amazon, Target, and Walmart $7.99. Best Buy $9.99. Now, Artsploitation was nice enough to send over a copy for review, Blood Paradise. Now, they always put on here kind of the country, and it says USA and Sweden, so I was a little confused. It is in English. There is some also Swedish. Is that the language, I guess? They speak in Sweden. Swedish. I was watching this with the subtitles on. So the Swedish was definitely subtitled. I mean, I'm sure if you were watching it without subtitles, it would probably come up. So this woman, I'm guessing since it says USA, I'm guessing she was from the USA. I don't know if it really said, but she's a writer, and she's kind of in a slump. The last couple books she wrote really didn't do so well. And I don't know, see, they really didn't get into it too much, but there's this woman who is helping her or talking to her, and she's like, oh, we really need some money. So I'm guessing it's her publicist or whatever you would call it. But I don't know for sure what she was, and she decides to have her go to this farm in Sweden to write her next great novel. I was like, okay. So she gets there, and there's this guy who's running the farm, and he's a little strange. And this woman, she comes in like all these fancy outfits and like evening wear to go to a farm, and she's like wearing heels and all these fancy clothes, and she just looks really out of place. And there's really not a whole lot going on. She's just kind of trying to write it, and nothing's really coming to her. And she goes like skinny dipping, and somebody steals her clothes, but they never really say who. I guess you could kind of guess, but eventually some really weird stuff starts happening, and there's some really kind of crazy people in this family, and it's almost kind of like a Texas Chainsaw family. Not that they use a chainsaw, but just kind of this really crazy family, really out there. To me, guys, this movie was kind of slow. In that last quarter or a third or so of the movie, when they kind of capture her and they kind of get crazy, and it gets a lot more interesting. But the beginning part of it, there's just nothing really that interesting going on. But this movie was all right. I give it a 2.5 out of 5. So, there's some good stuff, some bad stuff, and overall, I felt like it was an average movie. Next up is Breakthrough. This one is releasing on a 4K Blu-ray and digital. Amazon and Walmart $24.96, Best Buy $24.99, Target $32.79. It's also releasing on a Blu-ray, DVD, and digital copy combo pack. Amazon and Walmart $19.96, Best Buy and Target $19.99. Finally, it will be releasing on a DVD. Amazon and Walmart $14.96, Best Buy and Target $14.99. Now, Fox did send over a digital copy for me to review on this one, so I don't actually have a physical copy, but I did check this one out to review for you guys. Now, before I get into the review, I would just like to say to you guys, based on my own life experiences, that people really handle things in different ways, and there's no right or wrong way to show or not show your emotions, to grieve. Everybody's different, and just because you feel like somebody should be, doing this thing, but for them, that's not right, and I just hope you guys can really, in your own lives, have compassion for other people, and really just understand that not everybody's going to react the same, and that nobody's wrong. It's just how we react to different situations. All right, that's enough pep talk there. So this one, it was based on a true story about this boy. I don't remember who he was, 15, 16, 14, in that area. And him and his friends are out playing on this frozen lake. To me, it seemed like, I think it was in January, so it seemed like that would be a time when the ice would be pretty solid. But he ends up falling through, and he's down there for, I don't remember, it's 15 minutes or 20 minutes, just some really long period of time. So they end up finding him and bringing him out, and he's pretty much no pulse. He's really cold, no breathing, no nothing. He's dead at this point, and they start trying to bring him back, and it's not working. They bring his mom into the hospital, and it's his adopted mom. And brings him into the hospital, and she just kind of has a breakdown, and she starts praying, and she's like, God, don't let him die, save him. And then somehow his heart started beating again, I think it was what it was. And so she just kind of like holds on to this, he's going to be okay. He's going to survive. He's going to make a recovery. And even though these things keep happening, people are like, well, you got to be realistic. He's not going to live, or he's going to be brain dead, or all these things, and she just kind of never gives up on him. And it's really about this whole community coming together, all his friends and family and people in the town. And Topher Grace plays the pastor or reverend. I always get confused what you call him, but he's the main guy at the church. I guess I think it depends on what religion you are. And I really like Topher Grace. Like, I don't understand, why doesn't he do more movies anymore? Like, what bad movie did he do? I'm sure he did something, but it seems like everything he's done has been pretty good. I know you're going to say Spider-Man 3. But I really enjoyed this one, guys. It's a really sad movie. Let's just say, It's gonna be really emotional to watch this one. Definitely really sad. It was a great movie though. Definitely highly recommend this one, guys. I gave it a 4 out of 5. Next up, Moon is getting a 4K release for the first time, I believe. I've never seen this one, but it will be releasing on a 4K Blu-ray and digital. Amazon and Best Buy $22.99, Target $24.29, and Walmart $27.96. Next up is Teen Spirit. This one is releasing on a Blu-ray and digital. Amazon and Best Buy $21.99, Walmart $22.57, and Target $22.99. It'll also be releasing on a DVD. Amazon and Walmart $15.70, Best Buy $17.99, and Target $19.69. Next up is Breakneck. This one is releasing on a Blu-ray. Amazon and Best Buy $14.99, Walmart $15.41, and Target no listing. Also releasing on a DVD. Amazon and Best Buy $11.99, Walmart $12.54, and Target no listing. Now, this one is from Gravitas Ventures, and they did provide me with a preview link to check out this movie to review for you guys. Now, this movie was about these guys who were kind of like these extreme social media kind of guys, YouTube type things, and they would they're just kind of like extreme, and they would go out to these like tall buildings and climb them or whatever, they just kind of did a lot of everything. But the one guy, he owes like all this money in gambling debts, and the other guy, his wife's, I don't know, are they married? I assume it was his wife. She was kind of like, you need to get a job or I'm going to leave you. And they end up getting this thing. It's this invite to do this bike race. And they have like 24 hours to decide. And there's like these 4 rules, but it only gives you 2. And I was like, okay, that's weird. Like you can't tell other people about it and you can't help other people. And so I guess they decide to do it. They don't actually show it, but like in the middle of the night, these guys come and abduct them. And they take them and and so they have to go do this bicycle race, and the winner gets $250,000. And obviously something feels off, something feels sinister, but they're like, all right, we'll do it. And to me, it didn't make a lot of sense because it's supposed to be this race, and it's like on a mountain, and there's like 5 groups of 2, but they're all supposed to start from different places and end at the same place where the finish line will be. But they get their bikes and they go. Like there's no like start. It's like, well, shouldn't they all start at the same time? And just a lot of little things like this kind of start to add up. And I guess that they do explain it later on. But basically they're like getting judged on doing tricks and speed, and they have to get to the finish line. But there's no exact way of knowing, like, is it better to do tricks or is it better to get to the checkpoint? Like, I guess you got so many points for getting to the checkpoint, but it wasn't really discussed exactly. So they get past the first stage, but then somehow they just skipped to stage 3, and I was like, well, what happened to stage 2? I don't know if that was edited out or I missed something or what, but then there's like this guy on this dirt bike chasing him, and then this woman finds him, and her boyfriend or something's been in this terrible accident. And the whole time they're wearing all these different GoPros, and there's GoPros on their bike. So you're getting all these weird angles. And if you guys are real susceptible to like motion things like in found footage movies, this is probably one of the worst in terms of like spinning and shaking and all this kind of stuff. Because basically the whole movie is like either drones or GoPros or cell phones or laptops. The whole thing is like that. So you can see that the stuff, something weird's kind of starting to happen in this movie, but then it kind of just goes off in this crazy weird direction. I didn't necessarily understand. I wish they would have just gone with, they were going to kill these people, or it was like you had to make it to the end. And they even kind of like hint at all this stuff, but then like just somewhere out of the blue it completely changes, and they're still in this race, and it's still like a life or death race. I don't want to get too much into it, but it just gets really weird, and it feels like every minute I get more and more confused, and the story becomes more and more convoluted, and the ending, I was just like, I don't get it. Like, I don't know. I feel like it needed like another 20 minutes to explain what the heck this movie was even about. But I thought it was a really cool movie, actually. I really enjoyed the idea, the way they made it, the things that were going on. But like I say, I wish it would have just been like somebody was trying to race to the bottom, and there'd be like traps and people trying to kill them, and they were kind of like, they weren't like live streaming it, but I guess people were watching it or they were recording it to sell to people or something. And like I said, it was interesting. I gave this one a 3 out of 5. Next up, they're Iniside. We'll be releasing on a Blu-ray from Epic Pictures. I do have a link in the description to purchase that one. They usually have a good deal if you pre-order. I think it was $14.99 or $16.99 if you pre-order, and then it goes up to like 20 something after the release. But this one kind of starts off with this guy. He's like a blogger or something, and he's like recording his videos, and then out of nowhere some people like come into his house and kill him. And then we just kind of jump abruptly into this woman. She is making a movie, but it's more like a kind of like a drama or something. And she's got her sister and some friends and stuff are helping her make it. And for some reason, these people were going to let somebody use their house to make a movie, but they had a competition and you had to write in. It didn't really make a lot of sense, but basically she wins. And so they're going to make this movie at their house. And so a lot of the movie is actually just them making this movie. And it's kind of slow. I mean, I like the characters, but just what was going on wasn't super interesting. And then we finally get to the part where, you know, there's somebody kind of stalking them, and like they're gonna get killed or whatever. And I don't know, I just got so confused. I didn't really understand the story. This is definitely a movie I'd like to rewatch and check out again. I did purchase the Blu-ray, so I will probably bring an unboxing of that, and I will get to watch that one again. I think once they finally do get to the part where the people are kind of coming after them, it does get a lot more interesting, and it's got like a good suspenseful horror vibe to it, and it's a lot of fun once that happens. I just feel like they brought that in too late. So I give this one a 3 out of 5. You know, it's definitely above average, but I think they could have made it a little better by just bringing that element in a little sooner and maybe making the story a little less confusing. But be sure to check that one out. All right, now before you leave the video, I do have some out now movies to review for you guys as well. Paramount Pictures sent over Major League for the 30th anniversary. Now I'm a little confused because I can't find this artwork available anywhere for sale. So I don't know if they put a different artwork on it, if they just don't have, like on Amazon and Best Buy and stuff, they don't have the correct artwork showing, but I can't find where this is. As far as I can tell, this isn't a new release. I think on the disc here it says 2017, and they did have a re-release in 2017. So I'm not exactly sure what's up with the artwork on this, because online they show the artwork with the 3 main characters on it and not this ball. So this movie is about this woman who owns the Cleveland Indians, and she wants to move them to Miami, but she has this deal with Cleveland where as long as the year's attendance is over so many, she can't leave. So basically her idea is to tank the team, and then she'll be able to move to Miami. And so she kind of hires like all these misfits. And even the coach, or whatever you want to call him, he's just like this guy who doesn't really belong there. And he's not in on it though. You know, he's gonna try to win. And you know, it's one of those stories where they all work together to finally win. One thing I don't really understand about this movie, it's rated R, and I understand why it's rated R, but if they just cut out like the 85 F-bombs, like this would be a fairly family-friendly movie. There's not really like a nudity or violence or anything. It's just that they use the F-bomb like crazy in this movie. And I was pretty shocked. I mean, I hadn't seen it before, but it had been quite a few years. There's just a lot of vulgar language in this. So it does have Charlie Sheen, Wesley Snipes, Tom Berenger, Corbin Burnson, and you know, it's a sports comedy with some heart, a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this one, guys. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. It's really a fun movie. The ending to me, though, I didn't get it, because they're like, they're like, oh, the Indians are going to play a one-game championship against the Yankees in the Eastern Division or something. And I'm like, what? Shouldn't it be the World Series? What's going on? So it was a little weird to me. I couldn't really understand why they did it that way. Like they couldn't use the World Series, like, but they could use all the team names, or they didn't realize that the World Series would be the championship, or I don't know. It's just kind of weird. I don't know why they would do that. But a cool movie, guys. I think I mentioned already, a 3.5 out of 5. Fun one for sure. Wild Eye Releasing did send over HiDef for review. Now this is a anthology style movie, and I was very confused because these girls find this poster or whatever, and it's for a horror themed scavenger hunt. I don't know what you would even call it, but then it just abruptly puts you into one of the stories, and I was like, what happened? And I was like reading the back of this, and I started the movie over. They explain a little bit later, but basically what happens is they get these coordinates or something sent to their phone, and then when they get there, they get to watch a video on their phone, and those videos are the anthology. Oh man, to be honest, I didn't dig it. I didn't get into the anthology movies. They're kind of low quality. The stories were kind of really out there, and I mean, it was okay. It was okay, but I wish the stories had been better. I gave this one a 2 out of 5. The last thing I have for you guys this week is Space Station. Now, I believe this has been released before, but Mill Creek Entertainment released it on 4K, and they sent it over for review. One thing I found confusing, it says on here runtime an hour and 47 minutes, but it's like 45 or 47 minutes. So I don't know if that includes all the special features. Like when it ended, I was like, wait, what happened? So this is a documentary really about the International Space Station, and it covers a lot of like the assembly. They were talking about like people training and going up there and then putting parts together, and that was the majority of it. I really enjoyed it. It's kind of funny because it starts off and it's like this terrible CGI video game looking thing, and I was like, wait a minute, what? And it's like this lunar walk or whatever, and I was like, what is going on? I thought this was a documentary. What the heck? But it ends up being some astronauts doing a training thing, and it's like a video game, and that was the only part like that, and it just really threw me for a loop though when I saw that. But it has, the astronauts in the space station and kind of showing how they live up there and the different things they have to do, and like I said, just kind of assembling different parts and going out on a lunar walk to get preparations done for more pieces to be delivered. And if you guys are into space, I mean, it was really cool. I really enjoyed it. I definitely would highly recommend this if you guys are into space or the space station or whatever. I give this a 3.5 out of 5. So that is it for this week, guys. A couple of really great titles. If you guys have seen any of these, I would love to hear your thoughts on them. If you guys plan on picking any of them up, love to hear what movies you're picking up and which versions you're picking up. Please do remember, if you want to purchase any of these on Amazon, to use the links in the description. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to leave it a like rating. And if you haven't already, subscribe for more videos. Check out the suggested videos. Check out my website, BobsMovieReview.com. And I'll see you guys next time.